Hello, thank you for joining us today on Biology Weekly. Today we'll be talking about drug resistance and vaccine resistance. We spoke about antibiotic resistance and drug resistance in an early video. So how about vaccination? Does it also become resistant? Firstly, drug resistance is not only for bacteria but also for viruses. So just like we have antibiotics for bacterial diseases, we also have antivirals for viral diseases. So these drugs, as we saw in our earlier video, become resistant. So just like the drugs, would vaccinations for both virus and bacteria also become resistant? Today we will discuss about this. Many drugs are clinically useless against some pathogens these days. Drug resistance is seen as a great challenge now, along with climate change and surpassing terrorism. For many infectious diseases, hours to days pass from the time of exposure to a germ and the symptomatic infection in a host. So typically, a few germ virions or cells start an infection, but when they replicate more and more, their population increases to really high numbers. This is the incubation period. It is during this incubation period that can give the opportunity for mutations to happen. So mutations mean to make the virus or bacteria evolve to new types or new strains. And the germ transmission after this incubation period creates opportunities for these mutations to spread to new hosts, which is why we need an early action, because this way we can limit replication and also reduce the opportunities to spread to new hosts. Vaccinations are given prior to known exposure, mostly, but drugs or medicines are given after the exposure. Vaccination causes a protective immune response, which means, for example, the body is given a trailer, say, of the disease. So if the main picture or movie comes, our body is ready to act on it. So this early treatment at an early stage, that is this vaccination, which is almost always given to someone before they get a disease, helps to keep the infection-causing germ not mutate so much and also to not spread too much. Another reason why vaccine resistance is rarer than drug resistance is that a drug often interferes with a specific step, but vaccination often exposes our immune system to multiple germ proteins and multiple potential binding sites of these proteins. So they cover a wide target range. So this is another reason why vaccine resistance is rarer than drug resistance. Now let us look at some examples. Baruch Blumberg discovered hepatitis B virus, or HBV. 11 years later, a vaccine was made and allowed for use in humans. And this has been really successful. But since then, numerous vaccine-resistant variants have also been seen. Most of these resistant variants are seen in newborn babies of HBV infected mothers or in liver transplant patients. So even here, we see that in both these situations, the infection happens before the immunity that comes from the vaccination. But nevertheless, the vaccination resistance is a concern, and scientists continue to develop more vaccines. But largely, except for these cases like newborn babies of HBV-infected mothers or liver transplant patients, mostly HBV virus is in control and the vaccines are doing a good job. And of course, scientists always continue to develop more vaccines as well. Another example, this bacteria, S. pneumoniae, is often found to colonize the nasopharynx of healthy children and is responsible for various illnesses. These illnesses are called as invasive pneumococcal diseases, or IPD. Rates of IPD dropped substantially when the vaccine was introduced. Nevertheless, an updated conjugate vaccine was developed and introduced in 2010 to provide protection against the original 7 serotypes and an additional 6 others. This update has prevented 30,000 extra cases of IPD in its first 3 years of use itself. Bordetella pertussis is the human bacterial pathogen that causes whooping cough, a disease that is a major cause of childhood mortality in many countries. Initially, the disease was greatly reduced in the 20th century through mass vaccination. However, when the disease later elevated, vaccine resistance was posed as one of the several explanations. But research shows that we still see that the vaccination substantially reduces the risk of severe diseases. And we see the importance of vaccination, that it reduces the risk of severe disease, even while being infected with mutant strains. Marek's disease virus causes immune suppression, paralysis, tumor formation, and eventually death in chickens. Before the introduction of the first vaccines, the outbreak of this disease would often wipe out an entire group of chickens. But with this vaccination, this has reduced. However, laboratory experiments in chickens tell us that vaccine resistance has also, of course, evolved. But despite that, the vaccinated birds infected with vaccine break isolates do much better than the unvaccinated birds infected with non-vaccine break virus as isolates. This suggests that the benefits of vaccination were only half destroyed by evolution or vaccine resistance. But why still have only half the benefit, right? We scientists always want the best, so the scientific community responded to this evolution with new generations of vaccines with more efficiency, and currently this disease is under control. In a nutshell, the vaccine resistance, although it is a concern keenly monitored by the scientific community, is not as great as the problem like the drug resistance. It does not develop as fast or widely as drug resistance, nor makes the vaccine completely effective against the new mutants. We hope you liked this video. Please go get your COVID-19 vaccinations if possible. It is important and this will save you and others around you. Please register for it at least, and maybe you will get your turn, and then please go and take it. Do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you, and subscribe to us for more videos like this. And please put your comments below in the comment section. Thank you.